and blow us away. Hi, I'm Tyra G, your host of Frankly Speaking with Tyra G. Welcome again to our virtual global gathering of phenomenal women and all of you who love them. You mothers, daughters, grand and great-grandmothers, fearsome and generous, humble and honest, in pursuit of new possibilities and purpose. We dig deep here and we come up strong. For those of you joining us the first time, each month we explore a new theme inspired by you. Yes, you. Together, we bravely walk into places where tradition has taught us that there's some things we just don't talk about, but not at this table. And no matter how hard judgment knocks, it will not get in. Beloved ladies, here we live beyond the wreckage. Every week, we meet here for 1 hour to experience, educate, encourage, and empower each other. We share aha moments and stories that have been left in our pockets for far too long. Every week, we start where we are. Although many of our voices will speak light into darkness, there is no insignificant person around this table. Each show has 3 segments: the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning is where I walk you in and set the table for our virtual meal. The middle is our show's Sister Talk main course, where one of you phenomenal women and fearless join me in the interview seat. I named the last segment It's Not Over, because here is where I fill a virtual doggy bag with thoughts of empowerment and encouragement for you to take with for those moments while we are apart where you say, I'm so tired. I'm tired of being tired. Or you may say, is this all there is? Well, you're listening to Radio Fairfax, Virginia, on your TV, computer, or mobile device. And we are webcast worldwide on the internet at www.radiofairfax.org every Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But no worries now, if you've got a competing priority, you can check our podcast out at www.franklyspeakingwithtyrag.com. Now, while we're apart, if you feel like connecting with me offline, now that's easy. I would love it. Email me at tyra@tyragarlington.com. Thank you so much for listening in. I'm still praising the composer and performer of our theme song, Mr. Courtney Nero, my favorite saxophone player and my friend. Courtney thought it would be so appropriate that a show called Frankly Speaking with Tyra G ought to have a theme song named I'm Listening. And you're listening to it right now. It makes me want to dance. Thanks, Courtney. The last 2 months, we've been getting to know who's sitting around our table with our theme, This Is Us. We have shared successes and struggles. We've laughed and we've cried. Each week, I like to begin by creating a virtual common thought space for us to inhabit during our time together. And when we get there, I like to ask one of my favorite questions, what if? It's so pregnant with possibilities, we can start from where we are and go anywhere. Someone once said to me, what would you do, Tyra, if you knew you could not fail? I said I would make the impossible possible. I would create a virtual global community of intergenerational women who are fearsome and generous, humble and honest in pursuit of purpose, women who come together to create beautifully rendered intimate moments, women who are looking for a place to call their own. And because of you, my dear listeners, my impossible dream is possible. After a break, we're going to explore a space called How Dreams Can Come True, followed by our what if question for the evening. I was born in a once upon a time and a happily ever after world. And I remember in the 3rd grade, we had a musical called Cinderella. And I got to sing a song, and it was about dreams. And Mother worked with me so that I would feel proud enough and confident enough to sing. A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. In dreams you will have no heartache. Whatever you wish for, you keep. Have faith in your dreams, and someday your rainbow will come shining through. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, the dreams that you wish will come true. Then you wake up, you grow up. What? You mean all I need is faith and my rainbow will come shining through? Please. But wait, there are all kinds of successful people and leaders who declare that there are ways that you can make your dreams come true. I found an article in Inc. magazine that may give us a common point of departure. The title of the article is 3 Proven Ways to Make Your Biggest Dreams Come True by Peter Economy. Now the subtext says, goals are just dreams with deadlines. Dream big and you are sure to achieve great things in life and in business. And now I quote, number 1, are you dreaming big dreams? The most successful people among us dream big dreams while being awake. They set out to bring their dreams to reality by taking action. They know they have the potential to accomplish anything and avoid putting limitations on themselves. Most important, they don't wait for the perfect time to start dreaming big and making their dreams come true. How can you embark on the journey of dreaming big dreams and making them come true? First, you give yourself permission to dream. The only one stopping you from achieving your biggest dreams is you. The secret to accomplishing your biggest dream is to give yourself permission to dream, to imagine and fantasize about your personal and professional goals and the lifestyle you'd like to have in the future. Think about the places you'd like to travel to and the kind of job you would like to have. The most successful people start with a dream in mind. A dream of something fascinating and wonderful. You can rest assured if you can dream it, you can have it. Next, visualize your dreams accomplishing your biggest dreams. It's essential to visualize your biggest dreams because this is the practice that leads you to create a clear mental picture of what you want. It'll help you set personal and professional goals. Remember, goals are just dreams with deadlines. Also, visualizing your biggest dreams sparks your creativity and allows you to be more positive and more motivated. Once you make dream real visualization a habit, you'll be surprised at the many ideas you come up with to make your biggest dreams come true. Lastly, put your ideas to work. Use your ideas to define your goal, then prioritize each goal according to accomplishing your dream. Realize that dreams don't come true overnight while you're sleeping. It takes time and effort and patience and being completely awake and fully engaged. Assign realistic deadlines to your goals and be flexible to yourself. Make sure you track all of your progress and make adjustments as necessary. Keep moving forward to accomplishing your big dreams. Don't ever stop. Hold on. Don't be pushed by your problems. Be led by your dreams. This evening, the generous and fearless, phenomenal woman who's occupying the interview seat is, among many other things, a dreamer. She has successfully made several of her dreams come true. And if truth be told, she helped make mine come true as well. There was a time when I said, I would really like to do a podcast. And she said, you can. You can. You come to the radio station, you learn how. And it just took one person to turn my head around and say, maybe I can. And I started to produce my dream. One of her dreams is her very own TV show. I present to those of you who know her, and that's many, and to introduce to others, Miss Ingrid Parris Hicklin. Welcome, Ingrid.
Welcome. Thank you so much. You're amazing. I wish we could have our viewers see you, because I have to tell everyone, you are in your element. It's like you were born to do this. So when I see you, I'm like, what? Okay, and I'm like, give me credit. I help this,
And I give you credit. And, between you and me and God, we got it done. I actually love it.
Yeah. You're in your element, and what a blessing to have you here and sharing your vision, your words of inspiration. So, I'm sitting here as this, girl from East Elmhurst. And, I grew up in New York City, and I'm like this scared, geeky kind of kid who went to Catholic school. And so I'm always like pinching myself to say, am I really here? Or wait a minute, will they find out and send me back?
I doubt seriously if you're going back.
So you say about the television show, and yeah, I have completed 61 television episodes of Ingrid's World, and also 5 episodes of Take Charge, where I bring a television crew to an event, whether it's at George Washington University or it might be here in Arlington, where I did a heart health program.
Yes, I remember.
And it's about bringing the community in and talking with health professionals. And that was really what my charge was. And I've been blessed that in 2016, I received an award as Best Producer, of the Year.
Let's put a comma there. Congratulations, Ingrid.
But again, it's like, how did this happen? And someone I was speaking to who has known me for a long time, my girlfriends, and one of them said, you know what, girl, you always was putting on plays and shows and always had a play going on and had actors. And she's right. I've always had that kind of thing going on. What my work life taught me is that there are so many people doing good. And I wanted a vehicle to be able to share people doing good. So I had retired from Fairfax County in 2012, and I retired from the Office of Public-Private Partnership. I served as the deputy director there.
Tell what that does, because I think that's fascinating as well.
It was really exciting because I had the blessing to be able to go to corporations to see how they could partner with Fairfax County in terms of doing things. So we had the college partnership, we had Project Discovery, we had the Medical Care for Children's partnership, we had the computer learning centers, and it was, again, allied health and nursing. And it was that type of environment that we were always looking at ways. We further expanded we had a redesign of our department and then further expanded to take on more things for Fairfax County. And it was, again, bringing in the community. So it was exciting. But also, you had to really work hard in terms of, convincing a corporation that, yes, medical care is wonderful. We can do this together. We can, promote education. So those were some of the things we were doing.
And I think for our listeners that are in other countries, Fairfax County is the second largest county in the United States. So we're talking about millions and millions of people and millions of people who need our assistance, be they homeless, be it literacy, be it housing or what have you. So Ingrid's department was so important because we can't do it all on taxes that we bring in.
Right.
So Ingrid was an ambassador and went out and talked to these companies and said, hey, we really need this. You have what we need. Right. Can we collaborate? So I don't want to play down and just say I was at the Office of Public. That's significant because that helped the county really, meet a lot of goals that we had.
And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity. Before I came to the Office of Public-Private Partnership, I worked for Neighborhood and Community Services. And had a great mentor. In fact, she is now the Deputy County Executive, Pat Harrison. And together we introduced technology, the computer clubhouses, to Fairfax County. So that entailed me going to Boston, bringing the model that they had there at the Computer Science Museum, partnering with the computer network, computer clubhouse network, and then launching 6 clubhouses here in Fairfax County that unbelievable. It's still doing very
What
well.
do they look like?
So it's high-end technology that we partner with MIT, with the learning, with the Computer Learning Center, with the Boston Museum of Science, and they get the technology, that they normally wouldn't actually see. So it's more than just a computer lab. They're generating lots of programs, whether it's for television, whether it's for radio. They do lots of different things there. And what's the bottom line is, it's free.
And who can go there?
As long as you're a resident of Fairfax County. So
wow.
you are Fairfax. Now, for your listeners that are listening to it all over the world, there are computer clubhouses all over the world. Hello. So, all over the United States. You need to go to computerclubhouse.org, and you would see all the different clubhouses that are all over. They're located in several different countries.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so there is an opportunity to get involved, and it's been built. Gail Breslow is the director of the Computer Clubhouse Network, and she was able to build that. So having that experience, and then in Fairfax County, for them trusting, I had lobbied for that position, and so I was able to finally get it. I partnered with Vera Fessler, who was represented the library system, and they had enough confidence in me that I could make this partnership work. So they stepped out in faith, sent me to Boston, and then when I came back from Boston, with this heady experience, and I had to put the money together.
There you go.
So that was the challenge, but you know what? It's a good world out here because Northern Virginia Technology Council stepped forward, the AmeriCorps stepped forward, and many businesses came forward. And so we were able to launch all of this work. We had America's Promise. We had General Colin Powell signed on with his program. So all together, we were able to make this happen. And I'd like to give, really lots of respect for that because that certainly, launched my career.
Okay.
But how do you really get started? I mean,
with a dream.
So let's just think of this.
Okay.
So here I am, fresh out of college.
Okay.
And fresh out of college, I had moved to this area with my sweet husband because he was relocated, and we decided, okay, we're going to go to Washington, D.C. Okay. So he took a position in Washington, D.C. I know nothing about Virginia. So we arrived here in Virginia. And here it is, I'm going to start working, And so I start working because I was a history major, had a degree in history and education. So I started working for the National Park Service. So I was doing historical interpretations, and guess what? I was doing White House tours. In fact, there's a picture of me in the White House doing a tour back in the day. So really back in the day. But it was pretty much fun. But about finding your purpose?
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, this is really good. So I had our first, I had a baby, and then I'm still saying,
So wait a minute. You might have just keyed right in. Things were great, but you were saying, is this all there is?
Yeah, exactly. Is this all it is?
Yes.
And so at that point, I was saying, you know what, let me just get, I need to get another job, And so I got a call from the National Park Service. They tried to convince me to come back. But I felt like I was like a little robot, and it was good money. Don't get me wrong. Being a GS, I think it was a GS5. And it was really good, and they had it all playing a 5, a 7. But I felt like I was like this little robot, welcome to.
Is this all there is? Yes.
Oh, like, what? So stepped out in faith. I heard a radio advertisement from Fairfax County, come for a job and stay for a career. So I'm like, I want it. So I called them, and fortunately I did. I stepped out. I joined the building directors program, and in fact, I remember my first boss, Jan Nelson, he had me in his office, and he said, is this all you really want to do? And I said, no, I really want to do that. So that was kind of like my first mentor.
Okay.
And then I had another mentor, Mickey Kendricks, and he again, helped me along my career. And I would have to say that I've been so blessed. I have been surrounded by cheerleaders.
Yes, you have.
Cheerleaders. You know, my husband is like my biggest cheerleader. Of course, my mom, she was just always glad that I was working. She keeps it really, easy. So she would say, "Oh, you're working? That's like so cool." So it was so great. And, so I've always been surrounded by that. And you are in that circle of my girlfriends that I call my ride or die girls, who I can call. And they're always there for me. And so one thing happened after another. But what is the emphasis in this is that, always not being afraid of stepping out. And if it doesn't feel right, then you really need to start looking.
I want to put a comma there and say, yes, I had a guest Monday from Canada, and she was saying her mom left Trinidad with $20 in her pocket, went to Canada with a dance troupe, came back, got her girls 2 years later, and one thing she always said, never be afraid to start over. And that's what I think you're saying now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I started over, and, I was fortunate that I had, a husband with a great government job, so who really was fine. He wasn't into, like, we need to have these kinds of things and that kind of things, and we need to have that kind of status. So it allowed me the luxury of being able to do whatever I want to do.
Go ahead.
So the other aspect of it is that I said that I grew up in East Delmhurst.
Okay.
And that was just a great neighborhood. It's in Queens, not too far from LaGuardia Airport.
In New York.
In New York City. It's one of the boroughs, Queens. And it was wonderful. It was a middle-class neighborhood where, teachers and lawyers and back then that was kind of like one of the rarities. But in my block, everybody, did extremely well.
And I think when you said about your mom, we have to realize as we talk to people what generation we're in, and that our mothers only had minimum choices when it came to careers. Right. So that's why they were always celebrating us.
Right.
Yeah.
And who my role model was my grandmother, who came to this country. My grandmother is from the island of Jamaica, and she stepped out on faith, left the island of Jamaica with her mother, who was a widow, in the 1920s.
Wow.
Little or nothing.
Okay.
And my Uncle Sidney, my great-uncle Sidney, was already here in the United States, and they signed for them. They were fortunate to be signed over and come into the United States. When my grandmother came to this country, there was very little jobs that she was able to get. And she was able to get a job of a cleaning lady. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you about this awesome cleaning lady. This cleaning lady was able to buy a fabulous home in East Delmhurst, and that's why we lived in East Delmhurst. She and my grandfather bought this wonderful house in East Delmhurst. And spoke fluent Spanish, taught me, how to speak. And she traveled all over the world in Jamaica. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
And then my mother, so it was being surrounded by these women who just kind of, let's say, break the mold. So I was like, well, I got to do this, because
you have an order. You must dream.
I have an order.
You must dream. Yes.
She didn't come here for nothing. And I would have to tell you that when I would talk my grandmother about, of course, she was, older woman, as I knew her, and it was almost like a family folklore. Is she really from Jamaica? Da, da, da. Uh-huh. So one year, one Christmas, Mother and I were, in the basement. I'm on my laptop, and I'm like, oh, Mom, let's just see whether or not, where did Granny really come from? Uh-huh. So I'm typing away and doing all this kind of stuff. And I look on the Ellis Island database, and I find my grandmother.
There you go.
On the ship's manifest. And I find her mother on the manifest. And I find that they had come to this country. She was in her 20s. Mm-hmm. And her mother was about 53.
Mm-hmm.
So that means to say she was born in the 1800s, 1870.
Yeah.
You know, a while ago. And so just seeing those kinds of things, just to say, my gosh, if they can do that, what is possible for me?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I'm always, and so if you come visit me, I have pictures of my grandmother and my great-grandmother, a lot of different places. And I feel like I put them there to like, okay, are you pleased with what you see?
Yes.
And then my mom, who is also, I'm very fortunate to say that I still have my mother.
Yes, you are.
And we talk about how she was a dancer. She did vaudeville and she danced. In fact, she was sent over to come to Jamaica by Marcus Garvey and dance. Her and her brother were in vaudeville. They danced in Jamaica. So coming from that kind of background, I feel like, you know, I just had to, you know, be right. And the beautiful thing about it is that they never talked about, you know, you need to have so much money. But I would say one thing that they emphasized was education.
Absolutely.
It was like no joke.
But that was the ticket in and out. And I think it remains that.
It does.
But we kind of take it for granted.
It does.
And we don't celebrate its value quite as much. What I want to do is take a short break. And I want you to come back. And for those dreamers that want to have a TV show, I want you to walk us through how that happened for you. Would you mind?
I would love to.
Okay, fine. And we are back in the studio with Ms. Ingrid, the star of Ingrid's World, a wonderful, wonderful TV show. And she's going to tell us, based on all of the good things she's already told us, that she had no choice but to be a star, starting with her great-grandmother, her grandmother, and her mother. All were women who believed in something and pursued it. Ingrid, you're on.
So you're quite right, and one of the things are, and I say that you're right about this because I'm hopefully, you know, they're smiling, you know,
They
about,
They are.
You know, you didn't let us down. We invested in you, and so I was getting ready to retire from Fairfax County government. So I've had this amazing career, nothing but blessed and highly favored is basically what you can say has been my career.
Right.
I mean, so much so, I mean, you go in the government center, you see my name on a plaque as being one of the employees that have made a difference in Fairfax County. What a blessing that is, because there's lots of good people.
Absolutely.
And I was selected. How did that happen? But it's through prayer. And so I put it in God's hand because I was afraid about retiring. And I was like, and it was kind of like time for me to go. I didn't know. Part of me said I should fight and try to stay and show that maybe I should be the agency director. But there was something that, you know, if you sit still for a moment and you listen to the voice, that inner voice, because God is speaking to us.
Always.
And you hear that voice, and God was saying, I got something else planned for you. This is not your plan.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you want, but this is not what I have for you.
Yes.
And it was hard because I wanted it bad. I was ready to do everything. But when I realized that it was so hard, a message was coming, and it was up to me to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I decided to stop and listen. So I joined the program, so I had 3 years to put together, you know, I was going to inform that I would be retiring within 3 years. So it gave me 3 years to put together. So I said to myself, okay, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And I came over to Fairfax Public Access for an orientation. And I was amazed about this creative space. It was, you know, I also attended the Corcoran School of Art in Washington, D.C. And, of course, it focused on art because I'm a painter. And it was really fascinating that here in Fairfax County, you had the same atmosphere of people creating, programs, like yourself, radio and television, and what it had very different than my college at the Corcoran was that it was really it was not as competitive. I mean, because Corcoran's very competitive. It was very competitive when I was attending. And here, it was this nurturing kind of like, I'm in there and I'm going to help you. When is your show? Well, I'll be here. What do you need to do? And I'm like, what? I can do this. So with that type of environment, that's how I was able to do my show. So I started, and I didn't initially come in here and say, I'm going to do a show. I went to the orientation, and then I listened to all these amazing people who were doing things. And then I decided that, well, in the back of my mind, I told my husband, I said, I really would like to do a television show. And so he said, that sounds good. Chris is always encouraging me. So what I did do, I started taking classes. So I took studio package. Now, you heard of me. I retired, right? Okay, so this is a little different brain than I had when I was 20. So took studio package actually twice because it really...
What is studio package for our listeners?
Studio package is learning how to do your set, how to run the control room, how to run the cameras, the director aspect of it, how to do the lighting, which
comprehensive.
Is,
so you had to know
comprehensive. You're
yes.
tested on all this, and I had a great instructor who he would unplug stuff from the ceiling, and we had to figure out what was wrong, Jim. He was like so funny, but it was fantastic. And then I had another instructor, Monique, and she was very nurturing, and didn't really make me feel different. So you take this class, and I loved Mo a lot because I'm dealing with 20-some-year-olds.
Oh, listen. You and I.
Yeah.
And for our listeners need to understand, I felt like a grandmother in my radio producing class towards certification. And I looked at the faces of these young people and my teacher, and they're looking at me going, can she really do this? But if you have a dream,
yes.
And I know you did because I watched you, and I know I did. I would come in here 3 hours just talking to myself, trying to make these buttons go, and we did it.
We did it. And then I also had to tell you, Tyra, I know you didn't do this because this would be beneath you, but I also masquerade, okay? So they would say, and so what school did you go to? And I'm like, oh, well, I went to school in New York. So I didn't go ahead and tell them my history. So at the end, they were like, what? You're my mom's age? And I said, well, actually, maybe even your grandma's age, but I won't go there. So, but I did that particularly because I felt I didn't want to share with them about my background because I felt as if it would be intimidating, and I had a lot to learn from them.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
I learned so much from them in terms of of the technology, what to do, and if I can say anything to anyone who is trying to reinvent themselves,
yes,
step out.
Absolutely.
Now, guess what? There's going to be a lot of dream killers out there. Get ready now.
And that's true. But the thing about, and I know we're talking internationally, but what Ingrid and I are telling you is we found a womb for our dream. And in this womb were young people who started to say, wait a minute, they want to do this. And I mean, I would do silly stuff because I didn't understand. And they say, well, Miss Tyra, just do that. And they push a button and it worked. And yet they didn't tease me, look down. And right now, they're my helpers.
Exactly.
If I'm talking to another country and the line isn't working, I go get them and they want to make it work. So we have an intergenerational
Yes.
Womb here, a comfort place that allows us to grow.
Right here at Fairfax Public
Yes,
Access.
yes.
It's really amazing because it's intergenerational.
Yes.
Technology is forever changing. In fact,
And multicultural.
It's multicultural. Oh, it's like amazing.
Yes.
It is multicultural.
Yes, it
that
is.
needs to really be emphasized because we have an international station, channel 30.
And that's the studio we're sitting in right now.
And exactly. And then we have a spiritual station, and it's channel 10 where my show is on. And what's so interesting is that there's lots of different classes. And what I did on my path to be, to launching my show is that I worked on a lot of other people's shows.
And yes.
Yeah, so I worked as a camera person on, Lindsay World, but a lot of different shows, about 10 different shows I worked on. And it gave me the appreciation to understand what is involved in terms of putting together a show. That helped a lot. Always being in a learning mode. So a lot of times I, would say, well, I really just don't know, but always trying to figure out, and being willing to help another person, because particularly when you are a seasoned person, and I don't like to say old.
Season is good. I own that. Yes.
Yeah, we're a seasoned person. We have a lot to give.
Yes, we do.
And I'll tell you what has been most interesting. I received an email from an individual who was who was my teacher here at Fairfax Public Access, who asked me for advice and then asked me to write her a letter of recommendation.
Absolutely.
So embrace those times, share your experience, and use it as a way to give back. There are a lot of misconceptions about the generation that we're from, and there's misconceptions on their part too, where they are from. So you look for opportunities where we can reach out and share. We need each other.
Absolutely.
They are going to become our advocates, and so we need to be their advocates too, in terms of them negotiating the challenges that are before them. Lastly, the other aspect of it is that I took lots of classes. So from underwriting to producer, then different classes that they offer. So that was pretty exciting. And then in October, I guess it was 23rd, I launched my show, and it really was exciting because I wrote a proposal, and I was amazed that they accepted the proposal. So the long and the short of it, I've had people on the show. I'm a very intense person, so as you could imagine.
I've been on the show twice, and so for those of you listening, she's not telling a fib. She's she's intense.
I'm intense, So I send you.
She's a perfectionist,
questions, and then you send, and then you let me know what you're going to be having. But I think it's all about trying to build a really good show. And then I also try to promote it too. I have a website. I manage my own website. I designed and managed and launched my website that supports the show. I have a YouTube channel. And I'm an agency of one, so
I can understand that.
Can you relate to that?
I can relate to that. Yes.
But how invigorating it is to know that we're doing that. So someone said, "Well, do you know Snapchat?" I sat beside one of my Link sisters that was good in Snapchat, and by the time I was finished, Draw had me all lined up, and I had Snapchat. So now I have Twitter. Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook page,
YouTube,
YouTube, and that's what it's all. And all of these, I can point to various young people have come to me and said, well, you want to do this? Let me show you how you do it. And they get how they whip out the phone, and they do that.
They don't have to whip it out; it's in their hand.
Is it?
They don't put it down.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
That's
right. That's right.
Okay.
And so that's the aspect of from it. So I've had people that I like to feel as if, one of the things is that what I hope to do is to write a book like you. Second book now.
Yes.
So I hope to write my first book, and I want to write about some of the people that I've interviewed. I've done over 200 some interviews, and these are interviews that I've had with people that have left me some lessons.
I think that would be a wonderful idea.
So that's my
That's
goal.
your dream.
That's my dream. That's the next step.
Yes.
And the next step is that I really want to be more like Tyra.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I do, because you're just like so grounded and spiritual, and that's just so wonderful. And you know what? And it's so important in this culture that we live in to be grounded, to really know who you are, to embrace who you are, and not be afraid of that. And
yes, and I often say to people who come on here, it's easy to have a head-to-head conversation. My goal is that we have a heart-to-heart and spirit-to-spirit, and I want our listeners to feel our authenticity and our vulnerability. And I think both you and I had historical strength from our ancestors.
right.
And in your house, I bet you every one of those photographs, your grandmother, great-grandmother, and mother are saying, you did it, Ingrid. You did a great, great, great job.
Well, I like to think that the story is, not over from this standpoint. It's the looking at the next generation. I have been very blessed I'm a grandmother, and I have my sweet Alyssa, and she is what really keeps me going. So I can.
And she's lovely, and she's been on your TV show.
You know what? Several times.
Okay, I just want everybody
But it's
to know.
all meaningful.
Yes, it is, and she's
It's all
quite the
meaningful.
lady.
We script her. Her last segment she just recently did was her trip to the White House.
Yes.
So it's the White House through a child's eye, and we wanted to do that because with all the politics that are going on, we have to remember that we have another generation that's coming through,
Absolutely.
and we have another generation of leaders, and we cannot afford to get them discouraged about what's happening. We have to keep them encouraged to let them know that we're expecting them to be leaders, and the White House is attainable.
And you have an assignment. Every
Yes.
guest.
Yes.
Speaking of intergenerational transfer, I ask every one of my guests to read a letter they would have written to their younger self based on what's happened. And it's your turn, my lady.
Dear Ingrid, I just want to let you know it's okay to be you. You are fine. You will find that by not following the crowd, everything will turn out fine. In fact, it'll be fantastic. I know it's hard going to Catholic school, but it's a great education. Please be patient with your parents when they make you go to public school. You talking about being a nun wasn't a good thing, but it'll be great for you. Yes, you'll get teased on the bus and in class, but guess what? You'll be the one who's going to graduate and go to college and receive your degree. Keep listening to that inner voice. It will not steer you wrong. You will have the courage to follow your dreams. Your dreams will become a reality. I know you want to be popular, but it's just not the right time right now. It'll come later. Continue to act blessed. You will be blessed to have a husband and children, and tell them often that you love them. Enjoy the ride, but don't slow down, no matter what anyone tells you. You're not tired, they are. You're living your dream. You will have the gift of your mother for most of your life. Cherish her and know that you are doing the right things. You're amazing, and don't stop doubting, and try to stop doubting yourself. Continue doing for others, and remember to always be of service. Always put in the work, and remember to smile. A smile will take you a long way. Be patient. Now you're going to be challenged at work, and you will be in several settings that people don't look like you. Be unflappable. Stay positive. That's your strong suit. Look for the common denominator and know your strength is leading by example and bringing people together. Don't take it to heart when people say things that might be mean. You're a winner. Continue to stand up for people who need your help. Preach love and understanding. Strive to learn something new every day. This will determine your future.
Oh, Ingrid, you are awesome. Take a moment and tell our listeners, should they want to check out Ingrid's World, how they going to do that?
Well, you can find me on ingridsworld.org, INGRID, world at .org, all in one string. And you'll see show times there, you'll see shows there, and you can even send me a message. Love to hear from you.
I just, you know what it is? It's fun sometimes to sit in a place called a show and have girl talk with a friend. You know, I like to end each one of our shows. Ingrid has given you a lot of spiritual encouragement and empowerment for our virtual doggy bag. I'm going to put some ribbons on it now. You know how much I love poetry. So I was looking up a couple of poems to share with you about dreams. And this one is called You Can Be Whatever You Want to Be by Donna Levine. There is inside you all the potential to be whatever you want to be. All of the energy to do whatever you want to do. Imagine yourself as you would like to be, doing what you want to do. And each day, take one step towards your dream. And though at times it may seem too difficult to continue, hold on. Hold on to your dream. One morning you will awake to find that you are the person you dreamed of, doing what you wanted to do, simply because you had the courage to believe in your potential and to hold on to your dream. A second one is a short one by Langston Hughes about dreams, and it says, hold fast to dreams, for if the dreams die, life is like a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren dream, a barren field frozen with snow. I want you to know that I'm here to remind you, each and every one of you, that you are worthy. You are not alone. You are not your circumstances. Nothing that has happened to you in your life, the good, the bad, the scary, none of that will be wasted. You have everything you need to be who you were created to be. I sure enjoyed our time together. Let's meet again next Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Radio Fairfax. Or you can watch our webcast worldwide on the internet at www.radiofairfax.org. No worries. If you have a competing priority, you can check out our podcast at www.franklyspeakingwithTyraG.com. You know I can't do this without you, right? So I need to hear from you. Check me out. Meet with me at my email space, Tyra@TyraGarlington.com. Please understand that I'm listening to you, I care about you, and you have a best week you can. We're going to have Tony Walker take us out on piano, the piano version of our theme song, I'm Listening.